report tonight is pretty small. We had no HIB since our last meeting, and my report is to thank the folks that are working so hard to transform our schools, and that's just a slice of the Holmdel 2020 initiative. We haven't gotten into sort of some of the bigger details and some of the really wonderful things that are coming up this time next summer. So that's really exciting for us. My only piece of report is to give the Board of Education a homework assignment. We have a meeting on August 14th. It's our retreat meeting. And you know, we did our very first senior exit survey of our class of 2019. And so what I have for each of you tonight is a packet of the raw data for you to take a look at. And on the 14th, we'll be doing some activities around group analysis of this data. That's my report. I don't have an enrollment report since we don't provide those in the summer, and that's it.
Is this online too? No, that's pretty great.
We're going to discuss it at the retreat.
So for the public's knowledge, we did a survey of all of our graduating seniors this year. We had about a 40% return rate, which is really, in research terms, is really strong. And hopefully you're going to learn some really good things about the education that we provide our students pre-K through 12th grade.
Excellent, thank you. Committee reports. I will let Mrs. Amirati or Ms. Collins choose. Who will go first?
I will spare.
Because I call it wrong each month.
That's okay, I'll start. And then you don't have to do the stuff that's in common from buildings and grounds. Okay, the following are the notes from the July 24th, 2019 meeting of the Budget and Finance Committee regarding the Holmdel 2020 referendum update. The committee met with representatives from the Spiesel Architectural Group and Greyhawk Construction Manager to review progress of the interior and exterior alterations and additions financed by the Holmdel 2020 referendum. They welcomed discussions with the committee and received feedback regarding various items. Door replacement at Indian Hill and Village. The closeout documents, along with the contractor's request for final payment, have been reviewed, accepted, and approved by SSP and Greyhawk and forwarded to the district for approval. The district will process the final payment and the contract will be formally closed. Field reconstruction at Satz in the high school. The coating of the tennis courts has been completed, along with the installation of the nets and windscreens. The majority of the items on the punch list have been completed with some minor items outstanding. The interior renovations and exterior site renovations at Indian Hill and Village. At Village and Elementary, some of the underground drainage structures and piping have been installed. At Indian Hill, the piping and structures for the site drainage are installed. The bus loop is starting to take shape. The main water quality structures for each of the two schools have yet to arrive to complete the underground drainage and are expected around the first week of August. The roof repairs at Village have been completed. Interior areas continue to be monitored with each major rain occurrence for any additional leaks. The roof repairs at Indian Hill are still ongoing. The interior renovations at both Village and Indian Hill are well underway. New interior masonry partitions have defined the new spaces at Village. The removal of the old flooring and cleaning of the concrete floor in the multi-purpose room is complete and ready to receive new flooring material expected in August. At Indian Hill, the classrooms are being prepared to receive the new casework. In addition, the corridor is ready to have the new ceiling installed. Exterior site and renovations and interior alterations at Satz and the high school. At the high school, the old maintenance bay, wrestling room, and wood shop have been completely gutted, and the English wing is starting to take shape with the erection of masonry partitions defining the individual spaces. In addition, the music rooms have been stripped of the flooring and all acoustical wall panels have been removed. In the auditorium, the removal of the stage floor is commenced, with the new floor scheduled to be completed by August 16th. At Satz, the boys and girls locker rooms have been completely gutted, as has the mechanical room next to the girls' locker room. In addition, the two music rooms have been stripped in preparation for the new finishes. The stage previously in the SATS cafeteria has been removed to allow for additional tables and chairs. On the exterior, the area that will be for the PE wing has undergone drainage work installed with the footings for the PE wing ready to commence the week of July 22nd. At SATS, in the area of the link in the new SATS entrance, underground drainage is being installed along with associated drainage structures. The roofing repair work has started on the SATS roofs and will transition into the high school roofs. The successfully completed projects are land acquisition, Package D, gym, HVAC, Village School, Indian Hill, Package H, high school roof, and Package C, Rogie Field Stadium lighting replacement. 2018-19 extraordinary aid. The state notified the district of their 2018-19 extraordinary aid amount to be received of $819,046. The applicable resolution will be included on the July 31st agenda for acceptance and approval. The 2018-19 non-public school transportation cost reimbursement aid. The state notified the district of their 2018-19 non-public school transportation cost reimbursement aid amount to be received of $29,000. The applicable resolution will be included on the July 31st agenda for acceptance approval. 2019 MCIA Capital Equipment Lease Program. As discussed at previous BNF meetings, every 2 years, the district has the ability to participate in a pooled capital equipment lease program through the Monmouth County Improvement Authority, which allows the district to take advantage of the MCIA's AAA bond rating status and interest rates. The district utilizes this program to purchase equipment for technology and operational needs. The applicable resolution will be included on the July 31st agenda, authorizing the district to finance the cost for this equipment with an estimated total purchase amount of $815,475. The committee supports this resolution. Athletic trainer services. The committee was advised of the administration's decision to approve athletic trainer services for the district, and the applicable resolution will be included on the July 31st agenda for approval. 2019-20 non-public school aid. This represents state aid provided to the non-public schools located within the township. The district acts as a flow-through entity, whereas the state distributes the aid to the district, and then the district distributes the funding to the applicable non-public schools located in Holmdel. The aid is for school security, nursing, technology, and textbooks. The applicable resolutions will be included on the July 31st agenda for acceptance and approval. RFP number 20-03, audit services. The committee reviewed all the proposals received for RFP 20-03, audit services for the district. After a thorough review and discussion of the proposals, the committee recommended PKF O'Connor Davies, accountants and advisors, be awarded the RFP 20-03 audit services. The applicable resolution will be included on the July 31st agenda for approval. Please contact Mike Patricia or Janie Collins with any questions. The next meeting date for the Budget and Finance Committee is Thursday, August 27th at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Collins. Any questions from the board members? Seeing none, I will move on. Yes, Sarah.
Thank you. I think you left me one item I need to. That's great. Okay, Buildings, Grounds, and Safety met on July 24th, 2019 at 5 p.m. The only item that Ms. Collins did not cover was bid number 20-05, the boiler replacement at Indian Hill Elementary School. Boiler replacement at Indian Hill School is an other capital project with no state funding, which is consistent with the 2017 approved long-range facilities plan. Our next date and time for BGMS is August 20th at 5 p.m. That's a short report.
I just one quick question. Michael, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but just reminding me, I forgot to ask you this week. We've been dealing with the boilers for an extended period of time. For many, many years, we've been replacing all our boilers. Are we now at a point where our boiler situation throughout the district is resolved, or are there still some boilers out there that we need? I and just for background here, of course, most of the boilers are resolved by the cost savings program that we had in a variety of different state programs, but I know this one didn't qualify. Where are we with the boilers now? Are we pretty much up to speed?
Yes, this is actually will be the last set of boilers that needed to be addressed, that we will now be addressing.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anything else?
Okay, now for the London. Okay, curriculum and instruction special services met on July 23rd at 5 p.m. The recommendations for approval are the approval of out-of-district travel for district personnel, the approval of textbooks and supplemental resources for instruction, the approval of the Law Enforcement Against Drugs program, which is new to the district. It's the 6th grade lead program with Police Officer Martin, which I will speak to in a few minutes. The adoption of the reflected practice protocol as part of the teacher evaluation system, which we began, I believe it was last year. It's the adoption of a reflected practice protocol for highly effective teachers only, and has been very successful. The approval of presenters for new teacher orientation in September, which is the Power School program and IEP Direct. The approval of the annual discarding of outdated textbooks at Holmdel Township Public Schools. The approval of professional development consultants, which is the approval of a consultant for professional development for the 2019-2020 school year. The approval of title funded motions. The approval of the athletic training services provider, RJW training service provider, which is an annual contract to provide an athletic trainer to the district. The approval of donations, a non-monetary donation from the Holmdel Creative Arts Association, value not to exceed $4,334.05, and a monetary donation from the HFEE of $9,645 to be purchased on additional equipment for the new village school playground. Approval of home instruction, approval of student placements, approval of commission for the blind and visually impaired services, approval of allocations of the 2020 IDEA preschool funds, approving of nursing services provider, approval of settlement agreements, and the approval of student teachers, clinical practice observations, and field experience. Old business that was discussed during our meeting was pep band. So the original discussion that began over 2 years ago centered around the idea that we shouldn't be forcing or mandating students to do something that wasn't actually part of the day's schedule for the class that they signed up for, which is symphonic band. In the description of the course offering for symphonic band, there was a mandatory requirement for students to attend football games, home and away, or their grade would be penalized. The committee unanimously at that time agreed that the course requirements should be reconsidered and potentially changed. After discussing it, we decided that the school is not in the business of forcing our students to do something that some may not want to do that is outside of their classroom course. So over the course of a year's discussion, which was continued at every meeting, an appropriate suggestion was presented by administration. The suggestion was that the football games would not be mandatory, but for those who did attend, they were offered a varsity letter as well as community service hours. It was a welcome change by everyone on the committee. The wording was not changed in time for the last year's program of studies, but the committee was told, I'm sorry, my allergies. But the committee was told that due to the wording not being able to change, that teacher and Mrs. Jablonski would relay the information to all of the children, all the students who were part of the symphonic band class. We were assured that the program of studies for the 2019-2020 school year would have the correct wording, which it now does. The committee still agrees that students should not be mandated to attend football games when the course that they are signing up for is symphonic band. The committee came up with some alternative ideas. We hashed this around for quite a while, and we talked about perhaps starting a pep band club in which students can play for just the football games, as well as use this as an enhancement for college apps. Another suggestion was to meet with all of the leaders of all of these groups. This really, in my eyes, needs to be a more collaborative effort if this is going to work. And it seems that there's a lot of separate entities going on here, and perhaps a collaborative meeting of band, of dance, of cheer, of football, of all the parents club. It really needs to be a collaborative effort because there's a lot of mixed messages that are going around to all different parts of our community. And it's almost like, I told you, you told me, and those mixed messages happen constantly. And honestly, I'm a big believer in collaborative effort. And when I hear from someone that, well, band really isn't part of the cheer and the dance, but then yet I'm hearing from the community that band really is a big part of cheer and dance, it's very difficult to get all of these different aspects from all of our different leaders and groups. And instead of everyone voicing their differences of opinion and just having maybe one or two people representing one or two of these areas, maybe we can do something to create this collaborative effort where everyone meets together, and instead of just having cheer and dance and football parent clubs, maybe we can incorporate bands into that as well, and maybe we can start some type of pep band club and hopefully have all of those kids who will dedicate their time to our football games. So that was, we did spend a great deal of our meeting on pep bands, on the pep band topic. We also spoke about our data consultant. We have a data consultant that will join our next meeting, which is on August 21st, which we will meet with this data consultant from 5 to 7, which will help us to determine a focus and if we need to continue to proceed with hiring a consultant for further professional guidance. Our new business, we had a wonderful presentation from Police Officer Martin on the LEAD program, which will be implemented this upcoming school year. Too Good puts social and emotional learning to work through fun and interactive lessons, building the self-confidence young people need to make healthy choices and achieve success. Too Good for Drugs and Too Good for Violence promotes positive pro-social attitudes and behaviors while fostering healthy relationships, resistance to substance abuse and conflict, and resistance to negative peer pressure and influence. The target population for this program is our 6th grade, our incoming 6th graders. It's a 10-week program, and Police Officer Martin has agreed in some questioning from the committee. We have asked Police Officer Martin if he would actually give a presentation and an overview of the LEAD program to the first PLG meeting in September, and he readily agreed to that. We also talked about summer assignments. All are posted on the C&I website, so if you go under the department tab on the top ribbon of the C&I website, you will see all of the summer assignments posted there. We have also the new Rising 4th, 5th, and 5th grade math skills summer review there as well. We also spoke about Holmdel High School's mandatory summer assignments. The committee asked that administration look into the grading of the summer assignments. We asked that if assignments can be looked at more as an informal measure of understanding and less of a graded assignment. We also asked for a presentation from the department heads and teachers in an effort to understand the necessity of lengthy summer work. We have updated high school graduation requirements. We had the ACES program and option 2 on our agenda, which we were not able to completely cover due to lack of time. We also spoke about the Naviance program at the high school. The committee also requested that a Naviance representative present to the high school parents in an effort to engage parents in using this college and career planning and scholarship search tool, which is included in Naviance, which we don't think many parents are aware of. And I believe Dr. McGarry has already made great strides in contacting and getting someone in on that. Our next meeting is August 21st at 3 p.m. Sorry for that really lengthy report.
Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. Or
Okay,
you can go, sorry.
Go, good.
So, the pep band, so obviously I know, a dog in a fight here, but first home game is 9:20, right? First actual home game. I mean, I know there's scrimmages against Rumson, and I know there's one with the regional 9-5, whatever. So, I don't know cheerleading, but I understand cheerleading and dance are somewhat mandatory. So my thought is this, like, how many people do you need in the band? And if you don't get those people, what happens to the cheer and the dance? Meaning, you don't get enough people to feel the band. How do you handle that? Because then it has a ripple effect to other organizations. Then it actually has a major effect on the game. So I'm just saying, if we have all these ideas of wait, that day is coming within a month. So, I don't know what the answer is, but I'm just saying, I know there's going to be a lot of concerned people. I know this audience will be filled with students very quickly, by next meeting. I'm sure Coach Jeff and everyone else will want an answer by then, so.
Why would Coach Jeff need an answer?
Because he's gonna, him and all the players and everyone else, the band is a big part of the football game, like, help them motivate, get them going. I know there's about 5 or 6 home games.
So to answer your question, this was in play last year, so through the entire season last year, the same thing was in play. It was not mandatory that students attend.
Right.
And the feedback we received from administration was that every game was well attended by the band.
Right, I agree.
So the presentation we were given is that it's been working really well and that there really are no concerns.
Okay.
So, that was the understanding we have, but it has been in place for a full year. This would be the starting of the second year.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pete,
No, good. I just don't want to see, like, if we wait, and there is an issue, then all of a sudden we're like, there is no recourse.
I think, Mr. Reddy, I think there was a misunderstanding in the public as to the timing of this all, from what I gather. Because before this meeting, I was approached by some parents, not actually today, in the week leading in last week. And it was pretty clear that there was some confusion created somehow related to what was in place last year and what wasn't. So I did bring my concern to administration. I want to make sure that every single extracurricular group is clear as to what has happened in the past and what's going on in the future, because it was very clear to me, based on the communications and information shared with me, that there's a lot of misinformation out there and a misunderstanding. So hopefully that will get cleared up, and hopefully the year will proceed as it did in the past. And if there's any other issues, they'll continue to monitor it, like curriculum instruction, as you know. Last year was carefully monitoring that to make sure there wasn't a negative impact upon our teams, because no one wanted that. And so I'm hoping we continue to monitor it. So anything else?
I also think, we recognize that the advisor for the pep band, Ms. McCarthy, is probably one of the greatest Pied Pipers of music education, and she will be there, and I'm sure that her students will follow.
And now I recall, I think I was fading out of curriculum instruction at the time this conversation started. I might have had, it was right before I was switched out of curriculum instruction. And that was one of the questions, as I recall, this conversation starting is, you know, when you go to Indian Hill and you see Miss McCarthy, it's amazing. She has all of those students all up down that stage, and now they're at the high school, and it's awesome to see. And it's like, I don't know how she does this every morning, but she does. She gets all these kids working together as a band, and it's amazing to see every single time I go. And then one of the issues is, well, why aren't we seeing that at the high school? And that's something that started this conversation. And what our goal was, is to continue to have what we're seeing at Indian Hill, carry into SATs, and then carry into the high school. And I think that still needs to be our goal. And I think we're making tremendous strides towards that goal.
I have a brief item, just to following on to your commentary about how the guys and gals that are involved in the program are an integral part of the ecosystem with cheer and dance and the players, that they should be at the same level also as they are, I think, in the minds of folks, in the minds of residents and guests that go visit, from a recognition standpoint. So when the program kicks off and the folks are on the field and they're being introduced and the players are being introduced and all of the folks that are part of that ecosystem, that band, those names of those guys and gals are also recognized by name and introduced to everyone at the same level, the same stature that the residents and parents and all the folks that are visiting already have them at. So just as a I think it's, let's recognize them at the level that everyone already has them at and make sure that that happens so they're properly recognized. Recognize folks for many different achievements all throughout the year, from a parity standpoint and from a level of respect for what they're doing and their commitment. I wanted to just point out that that should be the standard, that they're also similarly recognized by name during
I think that's a great idea.
during the event. Thank you.
One of my questions continues to be is the option 2. This is something that Dr. McGarry, as I said to you when we spoke last about this, and maybe it was when I was on C9 many years ago. I know we've been discussing this option 2, and I'm very unclear as to why this can't get done for our students. I mean, we wrestle with, and just for the public's edification, option 2 provides a way by which our kids who are very involved in sports, whether within district or out of district, it provides them an ability to opt out of gym per se. So that like when they're in season, they have an opportunity, and a lot of other schools do this, to opt out of it. And there's different ways in which they have to satisfy their physical education requirement, which is a state requirement, which I understand that's the difficulty, but that's their standards, and that's why there's this statutory option 2. And this board, throughout the years, has been requesting it, and we really want it done because we have that. We also have, over the past, ever since I've been on the board and before it, you have other people talking about, well, homework. Are they getting too much? Are they not? We don't want to discourage people from having a full opportunities that are available to them at the high school just because I have too much homework, so I'm not going to do maybe a sport. Or, or maybe when I'm doing the sport, I'm not doing my best on my homework. So why would an option 2 be something in a way in which we could really kind of address that issue for our student athletes? And I've had student athletes come to me even and ask me that they want this. I'm not going to, I could say to them, I don't say to them, come to the board meeting, but this is something that they are asking for, to provide them an ability to try to make that balance as our student leaders, as one of our soon-to-be assistant principals talks about our student athletes as being those inherent student leaders in our district. And I know many of the board members here, many board members that were on this board before, greatly favor this option. So I really think we need to figure out a way to get it done. And I would like it done before the school year starts. And I really need to have a better understanding besides time as to why it can't get done before we kick off the school year.
If I might add as well, gym is an outdated concept. in today's modern, innovative school system. And I say that because, I mean, I just was taking a look at our little survey here, and 76% of our students take some sort of athletic endeavor. And if we have if 3/4 of our students are already taking athletics, I don't see why we can't figure a way to get the other quarter of students active in some sort of intramural program that provides, athletic activity. Now, I realize that we are also part of a highly regulated state, and there are regulations that govern gym. So I think that's been the biggest challenge we have. But, I've noticed that we as a district are very good at finding a way to meet those type of challenges. And I can't agree more than with what Vicky's been saying. I mean, I know that I've been talking about this for 5 years, and I'm always mystified as to why we haven't resolved this. And, I don't know why we have to wait anymore. I don't know what the time restriction is. And I'm not criticizing our administration. I know they've got their hands tied on certain aspects of state regulation, but option 2 exists. Let's take advantage of it. Let's give students who, if we've got 76% of our students are taking athletic endeavor, those are kids I know from past experience with my son when he took baseball. They're spending a lot of time in their sporting event, and that takes away from time that they can spend on their scholastic endeavors, and to be able to turn a gym class around into a study hall is beneficial. So I completely concur with where Vicky's going on this.
And if not, Dr. McGarry, we've also talked about different ways in which to give the student athletes, especially when they're in season, some type of way within their school day, work something in where they have almost like a group study hall or something, to really also encourage them to focus on their studies when they can in the school day. Like, if this can't get done by September, there has to be some other option provided to our kids so that they can have that balance and not to, we spend a lot of money and time on mindfulness, we spend a lot of money and time on any and every program to de-stress them.
It's on the agenda for the next committee meeting. There's a lot of logistical pieces that have to be in place for that to happen. We have to have a study hall place for students to go to. We have to have staff to monitor the study hall. We have to have our own staff verify that what the students are doing is meeting the standards. So it's not as simple as just sort of like turning on the lights and having it happen. There are a lot of pieces that have to be in place. Our facility in terms of study hall is very limited as well, because our students all already have study halls. And we're trying to tighten up our study hall time because we've seen some issues around sort of student discipline matters during that time of day. So it's not as simple as just, turning on the light and having it happen.
Right, but I hope it's a goal, but I would like
It's absolutely a goal.
and it would also be something, there needs to be something though in place for September, I think, that kind of addresses these concerns that the board has been expressing for some time now. And, unless someone disagrees. But I don't think so, because I've heard from and the reason I bring it up is because I've heard this from my board members for a while, and I've heard it from prior board members, and I really want this to get the attention now.
So we will look at it and come to CNI with a plan.
Thank you. Anything else on CNI?
Yeah, just in addition to the summer homework assignments, if anyone does have concerns or thoughts on that, please reach out to the administration to let them know what your thoughts are concerning your children's summer assignments.
And by administration, she means supervisors of content areas.
Yes, you do. Yes, that's true.
Labor negotiation and personnel met on July 25th at 6 o'clock. It's been a busy hiring season, so our first item on the agenda was meeting 4 new people that Dr. McGarry is recommending. It is agenda items 35 through 38. It is a supervisor of special education, 2 assistant principals at the high school, and a pre-K through 3rd supervisor. So that was the first order of business. The rest of our items are agenda items 31 through 62, which we'll find in depth in the agenda. And our final, the final discussion that evening was, hold on The committee was provided an update from administration on HTEA negotiations. Our next meeting is scheduled for August 22nd at 7 p.m.
Any questions? Seeing none. At this time, we will take questions or comments from the public on action items only.